I've bought the only Range Rover that I can afford, and in case you hadn't noticed, there are parts missing because this car has been in a crash. And to understand why I'm hanging out of the front of it like this, we have to go backwards.
Back to me pretending to be Superman on the bonnet.
Come on.
No, further than that. Back to me trying to cook a battery. Further. How about to me slicing my finger clean in half? Kind of. No, further still. Okay, I've got it. This bit with the bonnet over my head. Is that backwards or is that actually forwards? No, we need to go backwards to this point. This is me winning the bid for this Range Rover on Copart for the minuscule sum of just £1,500. It wasn't actually £1,500 once you took into consideration Copart fees and transportation. This car ended up coming in just a shade under £2,000. But of course, there's only one reason you really buy a car from Copart, and it's not because they're in amazing working condition now, is it?
Oh, what have I bought? Oh my word. Oh. So the engine sounds sweet as a nut. And the rear seems to all be in pretty good nick. But this, I mean, so we need a new bonnet. We need a new wing. Oh, look at that, that's gone back into the door a little bit, but I don't think it's actually caused any damage in the door. Oh wow, you couldn't see that in the photos, I'm telling you. Has the airbag gone off? The airbag must have gone off, surely. No, I can't see any blood or missing toes or fingers. Oh, but look at that, you can see the dash in there is just trashed. I think this is going to be not economically viable, this car, isn't it? There's no way I'm going to have to fix this for less money than it would have cost me just to buy one that wasn't smashed. Oh, that's cool. Harman Kardon Logic 7 sound system. I think the best thing about this car is that we've got over half a tank of diesel in it. Okay, the main problem with this car is quite what the missus is going to think about it.
But before we hear from her, there's something I need to show you. I've just done a history check for this car using Car Vertical, who are sponsoring this video. And as you'd imagine, buying a crash damaged car from Copart, the first thing you're greeted with right there is damage. And if I click damage, it's going to take you straight down to this section here, and you can see straight away that this car is a Category N insurance write-off. Category N, here in the UK at least, means that this car is repairable and it's non-structural damage. So everything on this car really should just be cosmetic. And if I come up here to this odometer section, you can see the car's mileage history plotted out on a graph there. I can tell you right now that that mileage of 116,830 miles, that checks out. And what I love about Car Vertical is that it pulls data from so many sources. For this report alone, they checked over 900 data sources in 35 countries. You can get yourself 10% off of a Car Vertical report using the link in the description below and using my code NEV at checkout.
It looks nice from the back, a little bit old.
Yeah, it is nice, that's why. Nothing wrong with it really. At the back, or this side.
What the hell has happened to it?
I don't know. Something has come through the windscreen.
A deer?
I don't know, there's no blood.
Crack window here as well.
Yeah, I know, yeah, that's correct. There's no blood or anything in it, but something heavy's hit it because of the way that...
Oh yeah, look at the inside, the dashboard.
Yeah, the dashboard's actually snapped.
A bit dry.
And that's all snapped over there. Yeah, it drives, there's no lights on the dash.
Okay.
Whatsoever. Okay. The engine sounds sweet, there's no smoke. You know, there's a little bit of, that's just like wear and tear.
Well, you like a challenge, Nino. This is a new one for you.
Do you approve or not approve?
I hope it's not a murderer car.
A murderer? Bank robber's car.
Yeah. I like it. I mean, I think it's decent. Just minus this situation.
Yeah, minus that situation.
And after obtaining the royal seal of approval, this car then sat for about 4 weeks whilst I cracked on with other projects.
And what I'm really hoping for is that I'm gonna pull this cover off and the magical car fairy has visited in the night and all of the damage is just gonna be magically fixed. I would appear to be out of such luck. Okay, so first things first, let's see if she has any juice. Being very careful not to get glass in my... I'm gonna go with no, not a single thing. Okay, so I've just been trying for far too long to actually get this car started. I have now pulled the battery out. I was trying to use my boost thing, the boop, 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 to get it going, but this battery's got so little charge that you can't even jump it with that. So what I am going to do is just try and give this battery just a little bit of charge by cooking it. And I'm afraid to say that this is pretty much all this car is good for these days. And I know this looks like a bonnet prop, but this is actually a window regulator from a Jaguar. So I'm just going to let this cook for a little while, and hopefully we'll have just enough voltage in there to hook it up to a proper battery charger and try and get something in there. Okay, so I gave that about a 30-minute boil hooked up to the car. Now I've got it hooked up to my charger. You can just hear the relay clicking on and off, and I think that's a lie, 75%. I'm gonna say that this battery is dead. Hello, I've got a reg for you. It's AV5. Yeah, I'm after a battery, please. It's an 019. Yeah, and can I get a couple of other bits as well, please?
So off to the parts store I went to buy a battery and a couple of bits.
Okay, so it wasn't actually too bad, £120, something like that. Obviously more than I want to spend, but without a battery, I'm not going to go very far, am I? Okay, what have we got now? Well, we've got lights on, so that's always a good start. So this is the 3.6 litre twin turbo V8. I think it's a twin turbo. It's a 2007 car, but it did just start up on the key, no issues. Sounds really smooth. Can't hear any ticking, no weird noises. I'm probably setting fire to the cover back here. No smoke or anything, so I'm kind of hoping that mechanically this car is absolutely fine. Hoping, because I do know the reputation of these things. Oh boy. So let's take a closer look at what's happened here. What I think is that something has either hit this, or this car has hit something on this angle. And you can tell that because of, you know, the way that these scratch marks are all lined up. Something has gone across there and into the window. And I think it's a tree, it's a branch or something, because, well, there's loads of bits of branch and tree. But not only has something hit it on the top there on the bonnet, but something has also hit it on the side at the bottom. But it seems to have missed all of the kind of critical bits. Something's hit the wing there, so you've got a big dent there. It's missed the wheel completely in the tyre, and then it's gone right down there into the side and has messed up all of this metal work down there. And then inside the car, you can see that whatever came in through the window down there is just absolutely obliterated the dashboard. It's just snapped. That's snapped all the way around there. You can see on top there where it's snapped there. This is all just snapped. Look, it's punched through the top pad of the dash there. And it's taken off just random bits of trim. Now, most of these are actually remarkably okay. The air vent has been destroyed, and this trim panel is actually still okay. But again, look, there's just another bit of tree there. Now, unfortunately, I think this is going to need a new dash frame, because look, you can just see there where this is the dash frame, right? Everything's just snapped. Snap there, snap there. But before I remove any of the dash, I have to get the rest of this glass out. Some of this glass is so fine, it's that really fine stuff that you just randomly find in your skin. But if I just kind of push this, you can just see, look, bits crumbling off of it. So there's no point hoovering up now until I get this out. This is my first job, safely disposing of this dodgy windscreen. Oh no, I think the struts have gone as well. Oh, marvellous. So I am going to need a new scuttle panel, because you can see where that, if it was a branch that went through there, look, it's absolutely killed the scuttle panel in a couple of places, and it's cracked down there. So unfortunately this whole thing is going to have to be replaced. Okay, now all I'm going to do is, I've got this massive great windscreen knife that I borrowed off of a mate at work, and what I'm going to do really, I suppose, is just kind of cut down in through through there like that, just to release it from whatever this is that's bonding it to the frame. I've never done this before, I don't really know what I'm talking about or what I'm doing.
And so I just kind of got stuck in as best I could with this tool, kind of slicing here, slicing there, and trying to get through a load of sealant, and it was about 1/2 inch thick, which did seem quite a lot to me, to be honest with you. Realising that this tool alone wasn't going to get me very far, I did pop out and grab some proper specialist windscreen removal tools, and then using these tools I did a little bit more slicing with this funky thing. You get this kind of wire string cheese cutter thinger that goes in and out of the windscreen, and you just back and forth. But the sealant on this windscreen was just so thick, none of these cheap tools really seemed to be able to cut it. And it wasn't just that, but this actually started to get borderline dangerous. There were shards of glass, big and small, just pinging around here, there, everywhere. And I was really worried that even though I was wearing gloves and goggles, I was going to get injured.
And if there's one thing that I've learned doing car stuff like this, is never be afraid to admit when you might just be a little bit out of your depth. And so I think I'm going to call in professional help. Now obviously I'm not going to fit the new windscreen myself, I never was. I am going to get someone to come and fit it for me. And now obviously as part of the fitting service, they obviously remove the windscreen. I was trying to jump ahead and remove it myself, because as you can see, obviously we need a new dashboard in here. So I wanted to remove the windscreen and just have amazing access to change the dashboard with all of this out. So what I'm going to do now, the windscreen guy is actually on his way, so I am going to get in here. I am just going to vacuum out all of this glass, because I don't think it's fair of me to ask him to work kind of in these conditions. So let's get all of this out of here. Okay, and there we have it. The second the guy touches this, it's just going to do it all again. So I've just got the most egregious bits out of here just to make it a bit safer. And there is a small part of me, only a small part, I'll admit, that is kind of glad that I am taking this dashboard out, because there's just glass in all of these air vents. And you know that the first time I ever turn these air vents on, it's just going to be like glass. Oh. Okay, so it's now the next day and I have an update. The screen has been removed, but the eagle-eyed viewers among you will probably notice that there isn't a new screen in there. And the reason for that is because the guys who removed the screen said, "Are you going to replace this dashboard by any chance?" To which I obviously responded, "Yes, sir." He said, "I don't think you're going to be able to get this dash out with the screen in place." So what we decided to do was to just remove that old screen. Those guys did that. And I'm now going to remove the dashboard without a screen in place. And they're going to come back in a few days' time to then fit the screen with the dash back in place. Right, I have absolutely no idea how this dashboard comes out, and I don't have any instructions for it either, so this is just going to be, you know, a jump into it and see what happens kind of deal.
Okay, I've been going for roughly a long time, and this just looks like a really bad dream. There are so many pieces to this dash. There's so many panels. There's all of this stuff, there's all of this, there's that, there's all this stuff there in the back. And every single time that I just remove one piece of trim, no matter how large or small it is, I'm just getting absolutely rained in glass. I mean, I have vacuumed in here probably about 4 or 5 times now, and every time I just pull something off, it's just, you just can't believe it. There's just glass absolutely everywhere you look. What are you stuck on?
But that was obviously only half the job complete. I now needed to get the new dash frame in. I managed to pick up this dash frame off of eBay for just £100, and this dash frame is in absolutely mint condition. There was nothing for it but to get this dash in by any means possible. And that's how I come to be laying on the bonnet like Superman. And this sequence has been shortened for convenience because again, this took me quite a long time.
Okay, so for the good news, I got the new dash frame kind of in. It's not fixed down and I still need to pull some of the cables out. Now the bad news is I just put my hand down the back and quite severely cut myself to the point where I think I might need stitches. It's not glass either, it was just, I don't really know what it was. I think it was a sharp piece of metal. Okay, I didn't need stitches. I just gave it a good bit of pressure, and then it just seemed to have stopped, you know.
And after my near-death experience, I simply got my head down and got this interior back together.
Oh, that feels good to be finished. 1 trillion screws later, and just in time as well, because the rain has just started. Not looking good. The dash is back in, and I am pretty pleased with it. Now, one thing that I think you'll notice straight away is that this is the wrong colour. I bought this off of eBay because the original one was smashed to smithereens. This is the only one on eBay like this, so until another one comes up in the actual correct colour, this is going to have to do for now. And then this whole dash top, because obviously this was just all completely smashed up, and this new dash top, again, this was like £20 second hand. This is delightful. And I had to buy a vent, and that was really all I had to do. Oh no, that's not worked properly, has it? Okay, I can sort that. Okay, it's getting a little bit wet in here and I still need to clean it all out, but the last thing I want to do is to just get it started, just to check everything is absolutely okay. Why is that not working? The radio's on, but I can't turn the key in the ignition. Steering lock's off. What's going on? Wait, slow down. Everything was connected. Everything was connected. Hazards work, the lights are on the dash, radio works, kind of. Oh no, what's happening? What could I have missed? I didn't miss anything. Everything was plugged in. Everything was plugged in. So, I've disassembled half of the car again. I've gone so far backwards. All of this at the bottom's come out, the whole dash top, a load of stuff over there, blah, 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 blah. And that's just so that I can get to this part of the ignition. Now, I don't know if anyone can see anything out of the ordinary there, but that there, that's a plug socket. And there is no plug in that plug socket. There's the little blighter there, look. It was tucked right down there and I just missed it. Key out, key in. Ah, ta-da!
That didn't take all that long to put that back together. I've kind of done it a couple of times now. Oh, what a schoolboy error that was. So now I can finally move on to something else that isn't this interior. And that something else is now replacing the front wing.
And this particular job was actually really easy, and it was nice to have it go that way for a change. All I had to do was remove this gammy old bracket, remove the headlight, remove the wheel arch liner, then you've got about 10 really easy to access bolts, and the wing just popped off. Again, I'd managed to source a new, not new, but new to me, second-hand wing in body colour from eBay for just £70 delivered. That is an absolute result. And this new wing simply bolts in place, no fuss, no hassle. What a delight. However,
there is just always something, isn't there? And it's always my fault. So I've got the wing on, everything's looking lovely, it all lines up, perfect. And the part diagrams told me that this was the part I needed. However, it most certainly is not, but I have now called up a parts specialist, and I hope I've ordered the correct part. Now that's not going to come now for a couple of days, so I can't go any further putting this back together because that bracket is kind of integral down here to hold on that bit there and to, you know, put the grille in there. And I also can't put in the wheel arch liner until that's in. And so this car's actually booked in for its MOT inspection tomorrow morning. Now I can't see why having those couple of panels missing, a wheel arch liner missing, is actually going to, you know, be cause for this car to fail. Now I'm having the guys back to fit the windscreen. They're probably about 2 minutes away. So once the windscreen's back in, I can refit the wipers for the inspection, and then I can come around the front. I can put the headlight back in, the front grille, and then just hope, cross my fingers, that this car goes through an MOT inspection and passes, and there's nothing actually wrong with the car mechanically.
Yeah, nice.
Right, so the boys have just left. It looks like midnight, but it's actually 4:30 in the evening. And I now finally have a windscreen in. They're top blokes, they are. Did a really good job. Highly recommend their service. Chips Ahoy windscreens, give them a bell. Right, so all I've got to do now, somewhat in the dark, is to refit the windscreen wipers, and then I purchased a new, well not new, but a second-hand scuttle panel to go in there, because if you remember over there it was damaged, so I've got another one to go in there, and then we're ready to take this old girl for her inspection and see how we get on with that. So the scuttle panel is in, this driver's side wiper blade is in. It's actually a new wiper blade. I bought some new blades for it. However, this is the other arm for over there, and what I didn't realise is that this part had actually been damaged in the crash. I thought it was just the wiper blade that was missing, but it turns out there's an extra bit that clips onto here, which then clips onto the blade. I am missing that part, so I cannot fit the passenger side windscreen wiper. Right, so it is now the next morning. Just gonna go to get this car inspected, and this is the first time that I've driven this car, so I'm very much hoping that we do actually get there. Now, a couple of developments since last night. The side light has come back to life, that works, but all of my interior lights in here have completely died. I've got none of the dials are lighting up, none of these are lighting up, and I know it's not because of the, you know, the dimmer, because I don't know if you can see it, but that screen there, that does brighten and dim. So it's very strange. I've got these lights work, the light down there works, these lights here work, but none of this and none of my dials illuminate. And I've only got one wiper. So I don't know if that's a body control module issue, but it is something. So I'm gonna have to get to the bottom of that. And if you're from outside of the UK and you're thinking, is it really always quite so rainy and drizzly and grey in the UK? Yes. Okay, we're off. So far, so good. Big puddle, may as well go through it. I'm in a Range Rover. Ah, no, I haven't got a wheel arch liner on. Oh! Hopefully that's not too much of a problem. It's a lovely driving position. Oh yes, I could get used to this. Ooh yeah. Okay, so first impressions really is that she drives really quite nice. There's no engine management light or anything, or warning lights have appeared on the dash. There's no knocks, rattles, whines, groans, narrow, no creaking, no glass jingling around, which is really nice. The brakes seem to work just fine.
So I arrived at my favourite local independent garage. Always support the local guys if you can. And I settled down in the waiting room with a car magazine for about 30 seconds until John came to me with the first problem.
So you've replaced the dash, haven't you? Yeah. Well, the VIN number is stamped into the dash. So the VIN number that's obviously shown on this dash isn't the same, isn't original, and he can't put it in through the system with the. So I just had to phone up Nay, go and get to get the logbook out, get the VIN number. Cheers, John. If you watch this back, thanks for all your help. I appreciate it. I know you actually stood just over there, but I am pleased to say, not pleased to say anything, she failed. So it wasn't nearly as bad as I thought it was going to be honest with you. So the only thing that's actually stopping this car from passing the inspection, so the only thing that's actually keeping the car off the road, the side light that I mentioned, that's intermittent clearly, it was working when I left, isn't working now, wasn't working during the test, so that's a failure. The windscreen wiper missing, shock horror, that's a failure. And the other thing that is a failure is that the near side front anti-roll bar boot has split, so it needs a new anti-roll bar on the near side front. And then other than that, repair as soon as possible. I don't think I've actually mentioned this yet, but right here in the driver's window you can see there's a crack and it runs right up there through there. That's actually an advisory. It's not a failure, it just obscures the view a little bit. Now, as luck would actually have it, and I can't quite believe this, but with the anti-roll bar, let me just, it is absolutely hooned down with rain, but I have actually been driving around with a load of junk, with a W124 mirror, and so a mate from work, Alex, was helping his old man out, clearing out his workshop. Son of a as we were clearing out, I found some Range Rover anti-roll bar links, so that's pretty cool. So massive thanks to Alex and Chris for that. It's going to save me a couple of pounds. Now I'm just going to get out of this rank British weather.
And the second that the sun did rear its lovely head, I got straight to work replacing this anti-roll bar drop link. And this was such an easy job. All you have to do is remove the wheel, remove the two nuts on the drop link, put the new one in, do the two nuts up, job is a good one. And you can see here the split boot on the old drop link. The next MOT failure to address was the incorrect VIN number. This just didn't occur to me at the time, but when you spend just 1 second thinking about it, of course it makes complete sense. This car isn't what it says it is. Luckily, I still had the old broken dashboard with the VIN number on it, so it was just a case of cutting it off and then installing it over the new one, which was a little bit more fiddly than I was first anticipating.
Just gotta kind of feed it in there. Go on. Uh-oh, I've lost it. Uh-oh. Come back, come back. Oh, shit. No! never getting that back, ever. Yeah, come back, come back, come back. Yeah, go on, come back. Come back to me. Ha. Ha. Yes. Right, okay. I need to change of plan. Right, so what I've done now is I've got a little, you can see a little bit of tape there, and then a massive great bit on the back. This is 3M VHB tape. Go on, get down there. Then go that way. Go that way. Yeah, go on. Go on, you get, yes! That's not too shabby. That should stick. There you go. Okay, now the next part on my list is that parking light or side light, whatever you would like to call it.
You see, I have this rather curious problem where the light doesn't work until you tap it. So I pulled the headlight out, checked all of the connections, tried to clear it up a little bit, blew into the connector. It was pretty much all I could think to do, to be honest with you. So it was quite clear that the bulb must be duffed. So I hopped into the Jag, and just in case you were wondering, this car is running sweet as a nut, and I'm using it every single day. Popped down to Halfords where I saw this amazing Vauxhall Astra 1.6 in the car park, picked up a couple of bulbs, and then amazingly didn't buy anything else. And if you've ever been to Halfords, you know the temptation.
Anything? On again. Okay, so I've been spending a little bit of time trying to work out what's going on with the illumination of the instrument cluster and then those lights there. You know, all of the indicator lights, they all work. You know, if I push that, you can see they come on. It's just the illumination when you turn the headlights on. Now, I've read a few things online. I can't really find anyone else with this problem, to be honest. I've pulled off the shroud all around the steering wheel. I've tested all of the connections in there, all of the wires, that all looks fine. I've even been down there. There's a light control module in there, but I think that's really actually just for, you know, the headlights and the fog lights and stuff. But I tried it anyway, no luck. I've been in the fuse box, checked all of the fuses and they're all good. And I also hooked up my scan tool, checked to see if it was the body control module, see if there are any faults in there. Checked all the modules, absolutely fine, no codes whatsoever. I'm not sure where to go next. Well, I mean, I am sure where to go next, and I'm wondering if it involves pulling the entire dash apart, which I'm not doing. I'm not doing it again. If you've got any idea what might be causing this issue, please put it in the comments below, but I'm leaving it for the time being and I'll come back to it at a later date. Okay, and so the next thing I'm turning my attention to is this very, very janky bonnet. There's absolutely no point in getting or attempting to get anyone to kind of straighten this bonnet out. It's just not worth the money. I have managed to pick up a new bonnet in body colour for this car for £70 delivered, which is well, it's just an absolute no-brainer. So the only thing with this is I'm going to have to do this by myself because there is, well, nobody else here. Should just no, that snapped. Yeah, snap that one as well. Oh, save that one, that was good. So if I loosen this one, the whole thing really should come free. Uh-oh, uh-oh, oh! Help! Stay. 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 Okay. That wasn't sketchy. Okay, taking the old one off. I think it's
going to be infinitely easier than putting this new one on. Okay, if I just put that there like that. Okay, and now I might be able to just kind of scoot it up a bit like that, and then rest it. That's it. Okay, okay. Ta-da! There we go, all fitted. That all went fine actually. So this is the first time I've actually properly looked at this this bonnet. So there is a bit of scratch in there, but you can't get your nail in it. It looks deeper than I think it is. So I think with a little bit of wet sanding on that might bring it back. Maybe needs a little bit of a touch up. Then you've got this one over here again. Well, you can kind of get your nail in that one, but I think a little bit of wet sanding again, and we'll try and work some magic on that at a later date. But apart from that, that bonnet is actually remarkably straight, and I've got it all lined up. I did a little bit of fettling, and then of course it actually opens and closes, which is 100% what you want. And then I've reconnected all of the washer jets and the cables, and luckily on this one these were already on there, so me snapping those old ones didn't really matter too much. These two here have snapped, but that's not too much of an issue for now. I'm going to see if I can get some new clips for that. But that is the bonnet complete. And as I was doing that, the postman came, and got myself a genuine one of these clips. And so this is the wiper arm, and that fits in there like that, and then the wiper blade fits on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get that fitted on there, get the wiper fitted to the car just in time for some more lovely British weather. Okay, so they had space to fit me in for my retest. And don't forget that with a retest, they only need to test the individual little bits. It's not the whole car needs testing again. And as we drive now to get this inspection, let me just say, it is no secret that my posting schedule on YouTube is infrequent at best. And the reason I post infrequently on YouTube is because I have a day job, I have a full-time job, which isn't obviously doing this. Now, how would you like more videos from me? There is a small chance next year that I can go full-time on YouTube and you can get way more videos out of me. One of the things that you can do to help make that become a reality is just subscribing to this channel. That really helped me out. I've got a 10-minute drive. I can wait for you to just hit the subscribe button. Cheers. Okay, I was there for 2 seconds, quite literally. We just had a quick look, at the bits I've done, the top bits. And as you can see there, you should be able to see that anyway. Pass with defects. This car is now road legal. Fantastic. Okay, so now that this car is road legal, I'm very happy at where this car is at mechanically. There are still a few little bits to do, still need to give it a good service, and there are lots and lots of odd jobs, and we still need to sort out some of this bodywork. This section here obviously being the main culprit. Now what I've done here is I've gone ahead and purchased one of these panels here. This is a genuine Land Rover part, and it comes like this. It's primered, so it needs to be painted, and this is the part that goes on underneath these gills and goes on the bottom there. And then obviously in that gap, you can see there's still a gap. That's where this mud guard that I've bought as well fits. Now, if you remember at the start of the video, there was that rusty, mangled old bracket. I'm still waiting on one of those to arrive. And that's the bracket that this mud guard actually mounts to, because that doesn't have enough rigidity by itself. There will be a part 2 to this Range Rover. But for now, if you want to see some kind of behind the scenes and stuff like that, and go and follow me on Instagram. My handle is not economically viable. See you in the next one.